think that the condo is right next to a I don't know, every emergency service on God's green earth, so that is a constant. It makes recording definitely just wonderful. Welcome to the Lore Reloaded, guys. Glad to have you all here. Check me out at twitter.com/lore reloaded, or when I'm editing at twitch.tv/lore reloaded. I also do a few games on the Twitch channel. We can all just hang out. So this one's going to be a little bit more laid back and a bit of a discussion on some things that have happened. If you're confused at what you're looking at or you don't know what occurred, you can check in the description to see the live stream that I did yesterday in reference to it. So there's going to be a couple things to go over, and we can just have a good time. It's just you and me, just you and me. Just a private conversation. I'm not talking to anyone else, just you. So, for those who don't know, early last morning, I was demonetized on at least one video. There were a couple others that were acting weird that I also reported. But on my Ferengi Analyzed. And the reason I was demonetized is because the video that I did apparently promoted hate or bigotry towards a person due to their race, their age, or a physical characteristic. Now, this had been especially frustrating because for those of you who weren't there, you probably don't know, but when it comes to advertising revenue specifically, that was one of two videos that I was making money on for advertising. All of the other videos, the first contact, the scene analysis, all of those are under review by CBS. CBS is actually the one that's getting to decide what happens, and the money is going to be held. Now, if I'm lucky, if I'm very, very lucky, what CBS is going to do is they're going to ignore my counter notification saying that it's mine, wait 30 days, and YouTube will release it on their own. That's if I'm lucky. Now, if I'm not lucky, what they're going to do is say, no, this 6 to 10 hours of work you did, this taking 3 minutes of footage and adding 7 more minutes to it, no, that's all ours. That is definitively a CBS product. And then I can either decide to go to court or I don't get any of that money. This is including, by the way, the Dominion War Chronicles, which took me 360 hours back to back to do. So, what's going on, Dallas, Texas? So, when I saw the demonetization, and specifically that it was for hate speech, specifically that I had committed hate speech, I was annoyed. To say the least. So, generally, when it comes down to these things, and by the way, I'll be talking to you guys in a little bit, but I'm just getting it out right now, just having that conversation, giving you the backstory. Generally, when it comes down to these things, I don't try to instantly go nuclear. I attempt to, I try to go through the normal processes, because I think that's the way things should be done. I think that you only escalate when you need to escalate. Now, here's the interesting piece to that. You see, the thing about all of this is that the entity that said that I committed hate speech was actually a human, according to YouTube. It said human reviewed. And so I can't appeal that because a human reviewed it. I can't go back to it. So that way is gone, right? Just to stop for a second, Locutus, where is it? I thought you'd be covered by fair use. So to be fair use is somewhat gray. Generally, fair use is done on a basis by basis. There's no strict law. It's not like stealing or something like that. However, I feel very confident that all of my stuff is under the fair use provision. In fact, the response that I give them was created by a lawyer that specifically says that. And I think that CBS agrees with me, because anytime I've done something that isn't written by a lawyer, they instantly deny it. But when I put that one in, they simply wait the 30 days and then let me have the revenue. Generally, sometimes they get kind of antsy. So yes, I would agree. I think that that stuff falls under fair use too. I also think that a jury of my peers, seeing a single father of two who did this, would agree. And I think CBS does as well. Doesn't mean that they're not going to sit on their laurels and not do anything about it and let me not gain that money. Because why the hell not, right? I mean, I'm just a name on a computer screen to them. So I would agree. Anyway, going back to my conversation. So I can't appeal it, right? I can't appeal the the decision because a human did. Oh, and here's another piece to that. So YouTube now has an algorithm on the upload system, and so every time you upload, if YouTube agrees with you, then your video will be monetized faster. If YouTube doesn't agree with you, then it will take longer to get it monetized. So the fact that a human came in and said, "Hey, this cat is racist," that said, "Hey, this cat is racist. Maybe we should watch before we monetize," is kind of a big deal because the algorithm is going to be like, "Whoa, maybe we shouldn't instantly monetize this stuff. We got us a racist on our hands." So just them saying it is an issue as well from a YouTube algorithm standpoint. So all right. So the next step, I can't appeal. The next step I do is I go to Twitter and I say, "Hey, says that it's hate speech, that I'm attacking a specific type of people. It's a fictional race. The Ferengi aren't real. Not only are the Ferengi not real, I don't attack anyone in that video. I attack ideas like saying slavery and treating women lesser than yourself is bad, but I never say people are bad. Not only that, as far as I'm aware, every person that plays the Ferengi, or at least most people that play the Ferengi, are not a quote-unquote marginalized group." So can you help me out? Can you have a person review this? So at that point, Twitter responds and says, "For more information, go to this vague as hell, whatever the hell it is, article that'll tell you more about it. It's not specific to my issue. It's not specific to anything that was going on, and they clearly didn't read it. So now I have to go above and beyond. Here's what frustrates me. It is at this point, anyone not with the advantages I have is done. There's not really a lot they can do. 70,000 subscribers, while it seems like a lot, really isn't in the career ecosystem of YouTube. In the I hate saying it like this, but the people who are in YouTube to be in YouTube, 70,000 is pretty small. But it is at least now an entity, right? But for people who have like 50,000, people who have 30,000, 10,000, 200 subscribers, they're done. There's nothing else they can do. This is demonetized. Not only is it demonetized, now the algorithm thinks that they have to watch your stuff more, so you're not going to be monetized as quickly. There's nothing you can do. That's it. That's game over. But for me, I had a few other advantages. First off, again, I have 70,000 subscribers and a very active audience that is, even regardless of what you believe politically, generally is on the side of free speech. We're going to get into that a little bit later, but is generally on the side of free speech. And so I reach out on my community. I say, "Hey, this is going on. Can you please, get YouTube's attention?" Which I can't thank you guys enough. You absolutely light them up. They are getting hit from like all sides, which is kind of fun. It's fun to see both. And again, it's really fun to see people of all stripes come together. I had because this is going to be relevant later. I'm going to bring it up right now. I had people on both sides of the aisle who thought it was absolutely idiotic, which I think was fun and nice, and it's really good to see Star Trek fans pull together for stupid stuff. However, I also, because of how big my channel is, have an option on my YouTube channel directly that allows me to chat with their customer care. That is only available to YouTubers of certain sizes. I also I have and still am a pretty big advocate of YouTube. I really am. Because of that, I've made friends within YouTube itself. I'm even a part of a creator program where if they have ideas or they want feedback, I can be a part of panels digitally. And I do that kind of semi often, where it try to improve it. And generally, it's stuff like this that I tell them about. And so I have those two different avenues. I took advantage of both of them, and after you guys lighting up YouTube and me reaching out to the YouTube chat, within an hour it is remonetized. So that's great. That's fun, and I'm really thankful for that, and I'm really glad that YouTube backed down. It's just, why does it have to go this way? Why does, and I understand that YouTube is an international company, and so you couldn't possibly address every person. I just don't think that's feasible. It's like, what is it? Like 24 hours of content is uploaded every hour or something crazy like that. So, I don't know how to fix it, but I think it does need to be fixed. And so it is just beyond frustrating, and I'm thankful that it worked out for me, and I believe it generally will always work out for me. I just wish that it could work out for everybody. And I think YouTube needs to be better. I think that they need to find a way to be better. Interestingly enough, I have now come under attacks by extreme conservatives and alt-right people, which is just fun. But before we get into that, let me address you guys a little bit, because I hate not talking to you. I feel like you guys are here to talk to me. Though Village Idiot, I think, is one of those fun alt-right people. This one is interesting. You support feminism, yet it's the reason why you live in a soulless, listless existence in a generic gray. First off, these walls are white, sir. They are white. They even appear very white. I don't know what you're saying. Walled living unit with no future impact in your community, obsessing over media all day. Well, I get 500,000 to 1 million views every month. I've been able to give my opinions on what's happening, and I have 70,000 subscribers. So, I mean, if you're doing better than me, then congratulations. But I tend to think you're probably not doing as well as me when it comes to impact on society. Are fictional characters and made-up species not even covered under law? And if they aren't, then WTF? Yeah. Here's the thing, though. When it comes to why it was taken down, there's a lot of theories out there, because they never tell you. I think it was one of two things. I think it was either A, the fact that I used the word Ferengi, which apparently is a word that actually exists in the world, meaning foreigner or white. B, because I had Quark with the wrong makeup. I did that on purpose because it'd get people's attention. Quark with the wrong makeup on, which could be considered, if you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, to be some kind of attack, especially since I'm talking about greedy capitalists. You could think it's something. So it could be A or B, or a mixture of A or B. Or C, it could be the fact that in the video itself, I discuss how the Ferengi never believed in slavery, but treated women very badly. Some people think it's because of capitalism. I don't think that's what it is. It could be. They never tell you. That's the problem. Thanks for the support, Jose. I appreciate it. 24 people monitoring every hour. Indeed. Uploading every hour. It would help if the human reviewer knew what the hell they were doing. I'm wondering if they would saw dark skin and assumed, oh yeah, it's racism. See, that's what I was talking about, Doctor. I think it's that to a degree. Also, the human reviewers, from my understanding, what happens is they have to do like 100 to 150 reports an hour or something stupid like that. And I don't know. Talking about war on YouTube is no. It does, the algorithm will impact you for sure. What's going on, Tazara? Hope you're doing well, buddy. Glad you are enjoying the first contact stuff. We're talking about what happened yesterday. Everyone knows Klingon Empire is racist towards Ferengis. That is true. I was reported by Quark. This is more about YouTube trying not to pay creators. Don't put all the blame on CBS. It's a 50-50, and hate speech is just an excuse to use to rip off all of your hard work. I don't think they're connected, R. McDudd. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't think they're all connected, and I don't think YouTube is trying to prevent me from getting money when it comes to the content ID stuff. The DMCA, the reason they do it for 30 days is so that CBS can't sue them. I don't necessarily blame CBS. Maybe I should, but I don't necessarily blame CBS. Maybe. I don't know. I'm to the right of Genghis Kong, and I adore this channel. Well, good. Yeah, and I've always said that. You still support Village Idiot. You still, our local troll for the day is here. Everybody say hello to Village Idiot. You still support the system that makes you spend hours on stream over analyzing how you're not bad and didn't say anything wrong. Good luck trying to hope. He's absolutely right. And I didn't want to admit this, but Village Idiot has pulled it out. Right before I put the stream up, a YouTube employee, along with a Google bruiser, busted into my house. They busted into my house. And they had M15s and all kinds of handguns and grenades. And they pushed me up against a wall, and they said, "You're going to have to overanalyze what just happened. You're gonna have to do this entire live stream for what just happened. You're gonna do this, and you're gonna make it look like you were the one wanting to do it." So you nailed it. You got me. It was specifically them that did it. My pants have been demonetized. Star Trek: The Motion Picture is my favorite movie. I love the refitted Enterprise. The motion picture is so slow, though. Oh, I don't know. Only recently discovered your stuff. Keep up the good work. Also, let's get the minor races from more known. Cation lives matter. The interesting thing is, I would really enjoy doing the lesser known species, but if I was going to do that, I could not. Yes, M15s exist. I don't care what you say. I would either need to do beta information, or I wouldn't really have a lot when it comes to alpha, I don't know. I'd have to take a look at it. I'd either need to do beta canon or go to alpha canon. So I don't know. If I were to make a guess, says Kaylee Soderberg, there are some articles about the Ferengi being an anti-Semitic caricature. The human reviewer might have just Googled and found that. Maybe. I don't know. But that's the thing. They either need to do better work or they're just not given enough time. It's frustrating. Thank you for the support, Broken Eyes. I disagree with Village Idiot, and if he wants to counter, it'll cost him paying Lore 20 for me to respond. I think that's fair. I think when you make a good point, you make a good point. I think your DS9 episode about social issues is what made you ping on their radar. No, see, here's the interesting thing. I don't think it did. I don't think it made me ping on their radar. It did make me ping on several radars, though. It did actually start raising the ire of quite a few people that I wanted to talk about a little bit after. I do specifically want to go over that. Village Idiot is right. When you don't bother about other beings wrongly affected, and then it happens to you, what grounds do you have to complain? I think you still have grounds to complain. I just don't think. I don't know. I really hate the shame. I hate that type of, and I maybe you weren't trying to do this, Bloomsburg, but I hate that type of shaming, where if you don't say something, you're a bad person. That's happening to brands a lot. I don't think you should be counted down if you stay quiet. necessarily. I mean, it depends. Everything has nuance, right? If you decide not to speak up to the, let's put it this way, if you decide not to speak up to the extent others are, I don't know that that makes you a bad person. Again, it depends on what's happening. Everything is nuance. But I do. I don't know. I don't know that I agree with that. I think that's a deeper conversation. Anthony 1966. Hi, it's my first time in your live chat. So the world is on fire and I'm having coffee. How's your day going? Keep up the good work. Oh, well, I'm glad you're having coffee. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Interestingly, I'm doing a breakdown on the riots and protests in my city, and I have found some real unfortunate things that I didn't even think would happen in my city. So, yeah. I think this all can be explained by the rule of acquisition 203. New customers are like the razor-toothed greenworms. They can be succulent, but sometimes they bite back. That is true. That is absolutely true. If you don't say something about marginalization or oppression or one of the groups, who's to say your group isn't next? Well, I mean, again, yeah, I mean, I spoke up for you and they come for me. That's been something. I don't know. As the amazing Canadian band Rush once said, if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. Yeah, but again, I mean, that's not to say that if someone doesn't speak up to what you think they should be, that I disagree with that. I think that type of shaming is counterproductive. People should be more bothered about modern slavery than slavery that happened in the past. I'd agree with that. Yeah, Dank, was it in Atlanta? All the police left? I heard about that, man. That is crazy. All right. So, I gave it a little bit of time. I talked to you guys. Let's discuss the interesting response that I got. So, here's what's funny. Throughout the creation of this channel, when this channel first started, anytime I saw something that I thought was ironic or was wrong or something that needed to be pointed out, I did. There are videos back a year ago where I talk about how Lily didn't where Lily got the shaft. A year ago, I have been talking about stuff like that consistently. Jeremy helping out the channel. I'm left of marks and I also adore this channel. Well, thank you, Jeremy. I adore you. Michael Coulter telling me to keep it up. Thank you so much. Here's what I need to fix those. I have consistently called out stuff like that, and I've done it on both sides. When I thought, if I thought that something was going on, or if I felt like people were being unrealistic or uncharitable to people who were white or anything like that, I've done it on both sides. So I have talked about marginalization. I have talked about how Lily got the shaft, and I have been doing it since the creation of this channel. Now recently, I decided to do a couple of breakdowns on Trek that specifically spoke to social issues that are happening now. I did this for a couple of reasons. First off, it's topical, so why wouldn't I discuss it? It's something that impacts all of us at this moment. Secondly, there are values. I think that people disagree, and that's fine, but I think that if in what you do, you can have a positive impact and you can discuss ideals, then I think that you should do that. And thirdly, the channel, the motto of the channel, the reason why I have the channel is it's a conversation. That's why I do the videos I do. That's why I do them in the way that I do them. I don't lie. I don't try to get people's ire necessarily. I do try to evoke emotion. I do want to you to feel something, but I'm not necessarily pushing anything. Django helping out the channel. People need to worry about Black Lives Matter and similar stuff, not a YouTuber talking about Ferengi. Yeah, that was my point as well, just to delve off into that for a second. we got more important issues to discuss, like the riots. Regardless of what side you fall on with the riots, we got more important stuff to go over. So I don't know why we're focused. I don't know why YouTube this is where YouTube makes it stand. So anyway, going back to what I was discussing, I'm doing Trek stuff. I'm not doing something that is quote unquote outside of the lane of this channel. I'm not trying to make the channel more than what it is. I'm going into the medium. I'm taking a look at the medium, Star Trek, which I'm known for, looking at what they have that's relevant to now. And it showed the episode Naked Now. Data seemed to be infected as well. Do you actually think he was infected? He got hyposprayed. Let me come back to that, Lacutus. Just remind me of that. So I'm doing stuff that is relevant now, right? And stuff that's in Star Trek. It's stuff that speaks to what's happening from Star Trek. You're watching this because it's a Star Trek channel, and I'm giving you what you want on Star Trek. Not only that, and here's one of the things that really frustrates me. I didn't necessarily do this on purpose. I try to look at things from every angle, and I really feel like the videos that I did were as neutral as you could get. Now, that wasn't necessarily my intent. I don't necessarily have an agenda. I just put it in front of me, and I talk about what I see, and I try to give both sides a fair argument. I don't think, unless you are ultra biased, which I think some people are, there is no way you could say I was trying to do it one way or another. So, let's not get too personal on this in chat, by the way. Let's simmer some of that down. The problem is that once this happened, quite a few people who are proud of being alt-right, because they say it, start doing the go woke, get broke, or whatever the hell that stupid saying is. It's interesting to me because, first off, the point of it is that you support a toxic ideology that eventually will take you down. I get that, but that just shows a lack of understanding in anything that I've ever done. I have never necessarily agreed with woke culture in and of itself. I agree with aspects of it, but not it itself. I've never really been a fan of cancel culture. I've actually been against cancel culture overall. In fact, and here's the kicker, I am probably one of the most radical free speech advocates that you're going to see. That's going to piss you off, I'm sure. That's going to piss a lot of people off. I think that the best way to get people to good ideas is to let others spout bad ones. I really do. Now, there is some that are going to listen to those bad ideas, but for the most part, for the absolute most part, most moderate people are going to come over to the right side of history. I honest to God, believe that. And that makes a lot of people mad, especially on the left. But I am just getting bombarded by people from the right saying, oh, look, you started supporting Black Lives Matters, and you started supporting Black Lives Matters, and now you're getting shut down. You get what you want. The hell are you talking? Can you please point out to me in any of my videos where I specifically go out of my way? Now, my actual beliefs don't matter, because you're just basing this. Basically, you saw me do two videos that discussed oppression of black people in the past that was a part of Star Trek. And you assume that all of a sudden, because God forbid someone advocate for people who have been oppressed historically, you assume that I am apparently the most toxic of all that ideology, the toxic elements of it is what I'm for. Not only that, and again, this goes back, in my last First Contact breakdown, I point out, and I make a joke of it, that Lily gets shafted, because she does. And I have talked about that forever. I have talked, go back a year and you will find that I have discussed this. But all of a sudden, it absolutely has to be the riots and everything. That I am just a part of the. I am a cog. That is what's wrong. By the way, this happens on both sides. But that is what's wrong. If you are alt-right conservative, or you looked at my stuff and you were like, oh my God, he is being a part of that, you are the problem. You do not look at history. You do not nuance any of this stuff, and you just assume because you see something that someone you think is toxic has said, you think that person is too. The fact that you have to put everyone in tribes is your problem. What's up, Tennessee Repair Guy? It's actually my nephew. Thomas Okwaja says, I consider myself leaning right in some aspects. I find Star Trek as a hope for future. If humanity would invent the replicator technology and warp technology, I'd go full Federation socialist. But what about the droid attack on Wookiees? The droid attack, that it deserved to happen. Who's Lily? Is that not her name? Y'all got me freaking. That's her name at first contact, isn't it? Yeah, Lily Sloan. The droid attack on Wookiees assisted. And look, I'm just going to say it because this has come up. My belief system, just so we're all clear on it, is that I think James Fellow, he keeps mentioning Lily. Yes, I keep mentioning Lily because it fucking triggers me that people will attack me because I mentioned something in my first contact video that I have mentioned forever. You're blaming me for something I mentioned. That's why I reviewed a fictional race objectively. How dare you, sir? Unsubscribed. Channel loves you, Anthony. Anyway. What was I saying? All right. I'm actually a huge capitalist, which unfortunately apparently involves your politics. That said, I think that you have to have social and progressive programs because there are things in capitalism that fail you. There are market failures for capitalism. For instance, if somebody is sitting in a doctor's office and they have diabetes, or they have, I don't know, some kind of disease, and there is a process there that can heal them or give them a better life, and it's just sitting there and such, and nothing's happening with it, and it could just fix them. That's a failure of a capitalist market. So I do believe that government interaction and intervention is required. And I think that a society as wealthy as ours has a duty to help those who need assistance. I think that a progressive tax system that isn't overbearing is necessary because I think it is within our, if it's within our power, we should do it. That's what I think. And I agree. Unchecked capitalism is a bad thing. I think that if you have checked capitalism, that is the best way. I also think that social programs push and assist society overall. For instance, I think that all school lunches should be absolutely free. I think this because kids that are, we see in with studies and such, kids that don't have to worry about food do better in school. Kids that do better in school don't commit crime. Less crime in my neighborhood means that my car doesn't get stolen. So I believe that some social programs are necessary. There's nuance to everything. Jason, I got to leave the chat, but here's $10, and I'm a centrist and pragmatic, going with the party who I feel like works at the moment. As for the arguers, everyone has to make all of us versus them. Yeah, tribalism is a bad thing. Thanks so much for supporting the channel. Beyond that, generally, when it comes to economic policies, I'm pretty conservative. I'm a capitalist, as I said. But socially, I am excessively... I love you too, Tennessee Repair Guy. That's my nephew who is trolling me right now. But when it comes to social policies, I'm very pretty liberal. I think that. Oh, is my child? Hey, what are you? You been hiding back there?
For ask how long I've been doing.
Oh, I don't know. What's up, beautiful?
Nothing.
Okay, love you.
I like this book.
That is a good book, isn't it? We can't read it though because it's the book that eats people.
But I can show you some of the animation.
Okay, show them your favorite picture, and then I gotta continue.
Sure.
1 second.
3 minutes.
So, for instance, I'm a huge fan of Jesse Gender. I don't agree. I don't think we agree on most anything, but I think that people should be able to enjoy their life, and I do think, again, that if we have the capabilities, the social nets should be there, regardless of if it fits a Judeo-Christian model or not, which is so interesting to me to watch. That's the coolest, isn't it? They're trying to give him candy and stuff. And he's like, no, I'm going to eat more than that.
If you guys vote enough, I will read this book out loud to you guys.
At some point. But I got to finish right now, okay?
Yes, if you guys vote for it enough.
All right, I love you.
Well, at least a book. Okay.
All right, go play, baby. Love you. I don't even know. Oh, yeah, it is so interesting to me, too, to see atheist conservatives follow Judeo-Christian beliefs. It's just... I'm not saying anything about atheism nor Judeo-Christians. I'm just saying it's just interesting. I never trusted Klingons. I never will. Well, you shouldn't. So that's that. And I'm bringing that up simply because people keep attacking. It's just so incredibly stupid. Beyond that, Locutus... I do think that Data was infected. If you're still here, I do think that Data was infected. How? I'm not completely sure. I will be doing a breakdown of that video at some point. I need to really watch. I need to really watch that episode again, though, because it does. I don't think it makes sense. I, honest to God, do not think it makes sense. But, I think so. I think that he was, in fact, done. We should be free to say what we want as long as we're not hurting someone. See, I agree with that. I don't agree with unions okay. From my experience, they cause way too much trouble. Okay. Fair enough. Paw wraiths made me blind. Well, maybe, that's what happens. That's what's happened. All right, I'm going to be ending it soon, guys. I just want to get that out of the way. If this is somewhat confusing to you, now my nephew is sending me a message. If you're confused by any of this, go look in the description. I actually have my kids do something funny there too. I think they had some cockamamie explanation. Yeah, I love you too, Lord Six. They did. Data's like, well, I have blood like you, and do I not bleed or something stupid like that? I don't even know. So does that mean Picard can get drunk now? I guess. Huh. There's an interesting thought. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. I'll probably have a video coming out tomorrow, not today. But hope always springs eternal. And I'll see you on the next.